try to deal with this by adopting bylaws to screen window periods. But, getting up in the morning and putting a load of laundry in, and doing a load of laundry before you go, using a coffee grinder, those kind of things. People complain about those types of noises. Those are normal lifestyle noises. And so
Yeah.
what
Realtor
we're
again.
really looking at is what's unreasonable. Unreasonable, being on your exercise bike at 3 o'clock in the morning is probably unreasonable. And the way buildings are often designed, there's not always a bedroom over top of a bedroom. Sometimes it's a living space, or sometimes it's a den or another space that does interfere. Developers do a pretty good job of trying to keep quiet spaces like bedrooms adjacent to each other and mirror each other so that people aren't really exposed to a lot of noise, but it's not possible all the time. So it's really the balance of, what's a reasonable lifestyle noise versus not. We had a decision years ago with an individual who took their neighbor to court because the person upstairs was quite elderly and frequently got up during the night to go to the bathroom and flush the toilet. They thought that was unreasonable. Those are things that happen. Those are lifestyle things that we're exposed to in buildings. So, you have to be prepared for noise, but also be prepared to say, when is this too much noise? Because the life of a number of people in the building are being disrupted. That's kind of the test I look at. How many people are also being affected? If it's only one person, there might be other issues on the go. But if there's 4 or 5 units complaining about the noise, pretty good chance it's unreasonable noise.
Yeah, in this most recent case from the homeowner in Burnaby who sued both of her neighbors upstairs and downstairs for excessive noise, that case was dismissed. And it was interesting looking at the judge's decision in this case, saying there was a possibility that this particular homeowner had a particular sensitivity to noise. And the judge highlighted that the law around nuisance requires that an ordinary person with realistic expectations would have found the noise
It's similar to
unreasonable.
Yeah.
So I guess you could have a case where someone is really
It has to
sensitive
apply to everyone,
noise,
right?
but
Reasonable.
maybe even when that noise is not necessarily unreasonable. So then you've got a problem. Tony, how common is this at the strata level? Like, do you hear about this often at strata councils with neighbors complaining about noise?
Every day.
Yeah.
So it's, we have 36,000 strata corporations across the province, encompassing 1 million units. It's a frequent issue for people, and they need to figure out if it's an issue that has to be addressed through some bylaws, if it's an issue that can really be addressed between neighbors to find a solution, or if it's a much greater issue that requires intervention.
Okay, Tony, stand by. Let's put in a quick break right here, and then we will come back with more. My guest is Tony Giaventu, Condo Homeowners Association, talking about noisy neighbors. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever got into a dispute with a neighbor over excessive noise? Can you please call me and let me know how it worked out, okay? 604-280-9898 is the number. 604-280-9898. Star 9898 on your cell. If you live in a strata building or a condo, how do they resolve these kind of disputes where you live? Maybe you're on a strata council. I would love to hear from you. And sometimes it's not just noise that produce friction between neighbors here. Sometimes there are fights over odors or people cooking on a barbecue outside. How about people who don't pick up after their dog on a condo or strata development ground? Call me and let me know if that's ever been a dispute where you live. 604-280-9898. Star 9898 on your cell. Tony Giaventu is my guest. This is Mike Smith, back with your calls.
Megatank. You can't print money, but with a Canon Megatank printer, you can save money on print. Canon Megatank refillable printers come with ink equivalent to 30 conventional ink cartridge sets. That's over $2,000 in ink savings. So if you're tired of changing ink cartridges, why not change your printer? Trust Canada's #1 printer brand, Canon, and don't think about ink for a long, long time. Canon Megatank printers available at Best Buy, Amazon, and Staples.
What's that sound?
It's the sound of money being sucked out of our home. Time to upgrade our windows, doors, and insulation.
That sounds expensive.
What's expensive is paying for heating and cooling that just leaks out. With high-efficiency upgrades, we'll use less energy, which will reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. Plus, we'll save money with Fortis BC's rebates.
Rebate. Did you hear that?
Visit fortisbc.com/rebates to discover all our go-ahead
Rebate.
to help conserve energy in your home. Energy for a better BC.
Our electronics are vital for learning, working, and staying connected to the world and those that matter most. In the heart of our home or in our hands, when it comes to our future, what's inside counts. The resources inside our electronics can be safely and securely recycled and reused right here in British Columbia, helping to preserve the environment. The future is in your hands. Don't let it go to waste. Learn more at returnit.ca/electronics.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Exclusive.
Can you text
It's back.
Stones?
Ford Motor Company has announced employee
So we just
pricing
move
is
it
back.
Mornings with Simi. 5:30 weekdays.
See, if Ryan's with us.
CKNW.
Yeah. But he's probably far away there now. Yeah. I think he's staying in Maryhill.
You're listening to The Mike Smith Show.
Okay, we're talking about battles between neighbors, whether it's over noise or cooking odors or dogs. If your dog don't pick up after your dog, how about smoking out on a balcony? Tony Giaventu is my guest, Condo Homeowners Association of BC. Alex on the line in New West.
In America, it's Homeowners Association, right? Here's Strata. But here, the name of the company is Homeowners Association.
I can't remember
HOA.
what it is, the law or the bylaw or whatever.
Oh, they're talking about traffic. I don't want to listen to this right now.
We find them for nuisance, serving other people. And also, what we're doing is because basically,
There's a big gap here.
not too many people smoke these days.
Is it
we're
moving, the
actually,
truck? Yeah.
Form,
Oh, it stopped.
bylaw and ban smoking out right in our building.
They just moved right now.
Yeah, so how often was your neighbor smoking pot and how much of a problem was it?
Well, it seems like every day, and the sad thing is, he had a child in the suite with him, which, whatever. But, and I live across the hall. It didn't really bother me, to be truthful, but on his side of the building, it bothered everybody, because he had the window open and whatnot. And, it's not a pleasant smell anyways.
Thank you for the call.
You think we went here right away? We're still all the way back there.
Strata corporations at a really significant rate are actually adopting non-smoking bylaws of all substances in all property, and it's enforceable because it really is a nuisance and it is a hazard. Secondhand smoking.
Yeah, especially remember even Zarina. Below us there are people with a hookah.
Smoking.
And we come back multiple times around,
It really causes a lot of damage to buildings as well, and I sympathize for people who have an addiction to nicotine,
Good
but there
response.
are other ways of treating that.
I sympathize to people
smoking or
who
consuming. And the
has
same thing with
addiction. Has a road
marijuana.
himself.
Medical marijuana comes in a variety of ways. So, the real success in dealing with this, adopt a bylaw that just simply stops it, prevents it from happening.
Switch
Go to
seat.
Brian and Langley. Hi, Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to
One
talk
person's
about
lady.
our
Yeah.
garbage area that we have. It's a shared
There's an exit
garbage
here,
area,
probably,
and when people move
right?
in for the first time, they'll take their
She
old
risks that,
appliances out
but
and
like
leave them
this?
in the garbage area. So then the strata has to pay for garbage removal.
The reward is
or
that
even just
how
putting
long
all
did
their
she say? Like
cardboard in the
2 minutes?
recycling, so then the recycling fills up. It's a silly complaint, but it's definitely an issue that I have is people not respecting the garbage area.
Thank you for that, Tony. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a significant expense, and strata corporations can recover the cost of removing objects from the common or limited common property that people have placed there. So, exercise that. But, if you're in a building like mine that has garbage chutes, we deal also with chronic problems of people not using their smarts and sticking things like ironing boards and massive cardboard boxes and things down the chutes, which then have to be evacuated, and it's a huge expense.
I don't want to be part of
find out
that,
who did it,
like
they
stuck
get
in
charged back to
waiting
them,
for the
and it's
bus.
a $500 cost. So it's not unreasonable to be charging back
Everyone on
when
their
you can
phone.
discover
One,
who
two,
the
three,
source was.
4,
You don't
5,
always
6,
know
7,
the source, though.
8,
So
9.
some
Everyone on their phone.
corporations have actually installed
Hey,
cameras
1,
in
2,
their
3.
garbage
This girl was on
cans
her phone
to
earlier.
address this
1,
kind of
2,
dumping.
3, 4, 5.
Stu in Langley. Hi,
7,
Stu, go ahead.
Mike, morning to your guest. I get to know your bylaws.
Everyone's not gonna evolve because I like this, no?
It is
All the
quite a
time,
bit
down.
because you know what you can and what you can't do. To actually go to your neighbor and start an argument and do this and don't do that, it can get pretty dicey doing it that way. And I've called the police on multiple occasions for noise bylaws because at 11 o'clock they have to shut it down, being maybe
Probably not there yet.
away for that excessive party.
It's
and
10:30,
stuff
no?
like that, because I mean,
Christos?
it goes on
No,
till
10.
2 o'clock
Oh,
in the
10.
morning, and you keep hearing thump,
There's no
thump,
specific
thump,
time. He
right?
said just be here by 10 because that's when all the actions start happening. He wants us to be there before like 10 or just by 10 and stay for a couple hours.
You just don't want to create a animosity between the neighbors in a way, and in that way they don't know, right, that it's an issue. So.
Okay, Stu, thank you for that. How do you recommend you approach this, Tony? Let's say you've got a problem with the neighbor, whether it's noise or smoking or something else. I mean, do you think like you should go next door, knock on the door, try to be friendly, try to work it out with the neighbor before you escalate it?
Well, consider who your neighbor is. I think if there is a history of difficulty and problems, you're probably going
drive here again. Can you just park there at their parking at the back? I'll just wait in the car.
But if it's a
park at the back?
reasonable,
They're parking at the
a
back.
lot of stratas in a reasonable way, the neighbors will say, hey, look,
They park at
your
the
party
back.
was